Well, the Greek Foreign Minister was in Egypt earlier this week as part of efforts to win support in the region over this dispute. It's all to do with the island of Cyprus, which has been divided since 1974 into the Turkish-speaking north and the Greek Cypriot, Greek-speaking south. Turkey has been drilling for oil and gas off the coast of Cyprus, which has resulted in sanctions from the European Union. Now, the EU says Turkey is infringing on Cypriot sovereignty, while Ankara maintains it doesn't recognise Cyprus as a state. Meanwhile, Greece is pushing to lead a regional gas market, cooperating with both Egypt and Cyprus. Let's talk now to Efthemis Chiliopoulos in Athens. He's an analyst at the Greek defence news website defencepoint.gr. Mr. Chiliopoulos, welcome to the News Hour here on Al Jazeera. It sounds like somebody's breaking international law. Who is breaking international law?
Well, the UNCLOS, the United Nations Convention of the Sea, specifically states that islands do have an exclusive economic zone, and especially island states. The way Turkey sees it, it chooses to make up its own version of what it believes to be the law of the sea, a version non-corroborated by any international forum or fora, on which islands do not have such exclusive economic zones. They do not have a continental shelf, and this poses quite a few problems. A whole state like Cyprus does not have an exclusive economic zone. Surmising from this, then Sicily does not have one, Sardinia does not have one, and maybe Great Britain does not have one. How Turkey interprets this is beyond us, besides which it is not a signatory of the Law of the Sea Convention of the United Nations.
So somebody someplace clearly wants to make money out of this, or they are making money out of this. Who is it within this triangular relationship who's stopping that profit margin money going back to Cyprus and is taking it elsewhere?
Well, Cyprus has delineated some of its plots, especially on the southern side of the island, and has handed it over to consortia of multinationals for exploitation. Turkey sees this as an opportunity to get its share of what it believes to be the wealth of the Eastern Mediterranean, irrespective of national rights of other peoples, and irrespective of its neighbors. So Turkey is seeking to, through a maximalist strategy, to press its neighbors into handing over some of these reserves, if possible, through negotiations and through a blackmail of a use of force.
Okay, blackmail, that's a strong word. That's a claim that you're putting out there. I just want to ring fence that for anyone who's listening quite closely to what you're saying. But if we look at the immediate history, or the generational history of Cyprus, 1974, Turkey invades, we get that. You've got Turkish Cyprus to the north, you've got Greek Cyprus to the south. We can understand why they don't like each other. That's a given, I guess, when it comes to making money from oil and gas. But where does the Libyan component come in, and why are the Egyptians getting involved in this?
Well, Egypt has a good relationship with Cyprus and Greece, and has a terrible relationship with Turkey, whom it sees as being behind all sorts of problems for the Egyptian state. Now, as you mentioned, and I must refuse to accept this, Cyprus is only one nation. It's one nation recognized by the United Nations. It has a seat on the United Nations. The Turkish-occupied north part of the island is maintained by the use of force, by the presence of 30,000 occupation troops there, by using ethnic changing the ethnic makeup of Turkish Cypriots by importing foreign, well, Turkic-speaking but non-island natives to that region, and it has set up a puppet state which only it recognizes. So,
Mr.
in terms
Chiliopoulos, we have to leave it there, sir. Thank you so much for joining us from Athens.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.